Hello and welcome to the next episode in the Aurora 4X Quickfire tutorial series. In this episode we're going to go down to a little bit more basic level and discuss the industry tab, what every button means, how you can use it to your best, and some of the overlying themes with the tab in general. This is a little bit more basic one today. There'll be more complicated quickfire tutorial series coming out, but I just want to keep it simple because I want to get work done on my AAR, which is currently in the works. If you want to go and support that, you can do so in the link below. You can give a comment, view it, just enjoy it. That's all I care about. But yeah, let's get right into it. So, the industry tab. Now, most people think, oh, how complicated can it be? Just make things, right? Yes, well, to newer players, it's not as apparent. So we're going to kind of go through what everything means, what each tooltip means, what you need to be looking at. So on the top left, you're going to be in the economic screen. Once you have the industry tab selected, you'll see a drop-down menu where you'll have construction, ordnance, fighter, components, and space station. We're going to start with construction first, and I'm going to talk through what it means. Here you're going to see the buildings or installations that you can produce with construction. So I want to produce a mass driver, I can select that, and then over here I'll be able to make it. Over here as well, it will tell you the resources, the workers, the wealth required to make it, as well as the uranium, neutronium, boronide, the resources that you're going to acquire. Over here, you can then type in how many items you want created of that. You can also then type in how much of your production capacity, so how many factories do you want to be allocated to it, so 50%, 100%, 25%, etc. You can create it, modify it by selecting it and then typing in new numbers and hitting modify. You can cancel it, you can pause it, you can up and down queue it, and over here this will tell you where fighters will go, where they'll be produced, and this is where they'll tell you where space stations will be produced. So if you want your space stations or your fighters to go to your shipyard fleet, they will go in the shipyard fleet. If none are selected, they'll create a new fleet. Over here, your fuel refinery capacity, and this will produce fuel, and you can tell it to stop if it's run out. And then you have maintenance facilities, which will produce a annual amount of MSP based on the amount that you have of uranium, iridium, and gallicite. They will use those resources, while fuel will only use thorium that you've mined from the surface. Then up here we have construction capacity. So construction capacity is in BP or build points. So I generate 11,538 build points annual production in my shipyard. Or in my production rate. So I produce that much every single year. This is how many factories you have. It also, if it says con, that means it's construction factories. If it says CI, that means conventional industry. And in this screen, you'll see your factories with your project, your amount, your capacity, your pool, your production rate, your item cost, completion date, and pause and queue. And then there'll be a place for fighters, and then be a place for space stations, and a place for ordnance. Okay, so let's go to ordnance now. Ordnance, this is where you produce your ordnance or your missiles, or as well as weapon pods. And you need ordnance factories, which you produce in construction, to be able to do this. And they will generate, like this, construction capacity up here. They will generate an amount like this, so 2,489 BP every year for ordnance. And then we have fighter, which is the same thing, but it produces 500 tons and below, which is a fighter, ships that you can build without needing a shipyard, using fighter factories. It can be extremely beneficial in doing this, and you can use it for various things. Okay, next we're going to look at components. You can prefabricate essentially components that you will be using, so all of these components, so that when you build a ship, so if we go to shipyards, and we check use components, it will use components you already have there, and it won't create new ones. So it will cut down a lot. So if you have a lot of industry and you don't have a lot of shipyards, you can convert your industry into shipyard. Then we have space station. Space station is a new thing added in C#, where a ship that is designated with no armor is classified as a space station. They can't have weapons, and they have no armor, obviously, and they can't have engines, but they allow you to produce it with industry. So I can produce this terraforming station with industry here, and that is much more efficient in terms of terraforming, and it's one of the reasons why stations are really, really good, and you should make them. So that's the general drop down for that, and the overall everything how that works. Remember that this will affect mining. This will affect your wealth, and it will take from those pools individually. And industry is a big part of C#. I recommend you stagger your industry and plan it out, so you have research facilities, you queue up research facilities, or this or what you need, and you also spread it out accordingly. So I have 25% construction factories, 25% mines, 25% terraformers, 25% automated mines, etc. They are all to be built at a certain amount of time, and I'm giving them certain amounts of industry, so you can kind of segment what you want to be producing. So do keep that in mind. Well, anyway, I hope you have enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, and yeah, remember to like and subscribe. Only about 20% of people do. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.